So are we actually going to do this? Yeah, we are. Let's go. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another podcast episode for actually the podcast. And I cannot tell you how thrilled I am to do this episode because I literally have sitting next to me Cait Blakely, who is my amazing friend and also a coach on our program, Empowered for More. And we just spent the last 2 days, this is our day 3, of doing get stuff done. We used another word, but another S word. Just in case little ears are listening. And we purposely went away and rented an Airbnb and we worked on a big project. And we thought it'd be really great to share with you what we did over this weekend and how it is going to impact our business, how it helps support the action and why we chose to do it this way. So welcome, Cait. I'm so excited you're here.
Yes, thank you for having me on the podcast and at the retreat house.
Yes, it's a really full house. So
We have the cutest house that Lani booked. She's great at finding good ones. And I think we want to kick off and talking about like what made us want to do this weekend to begin with.
yes, so I knew that this summer we were going to be tackling a big project in the business. And one of the things that as a business owner, I see over and over again is like things evolve. Okay. And you always are improving and tweaking, but I'm really trying to be careful not to let that be a distraction from growth, rather enhancing the growth we've seen. So let me explain a little bit about that. When I first opened Empowered for More, I created the Action Vault, which goes along with our program. It's not a course. It's a vault full of trainings that are specifically targeting specific actions that we know business owners need to take and how to customize that action for profits. And when we first made it, I had a pretty simple Action Vault outline of what would go in there and based off of my experience that I had been coaching for years. And I'm like, okay, here's the typical things we talk about. So we made those trainings. Now, that was 2 years ago when the vault was up and running, and it was great. It was really good. It was functioning. People were going through it. They were getting wins. However, as we started to grow and as more women came through the program at different stages, different types of businesses, we started to notice some gaps. Not saying that we didn't have enough training, but like, oh, I can expand more on this, or oh, I see a missing thing that, if I was working with them one-on-one, we would address one-on-one, but this isn't a community-based program. So how do I get them this information without having to do like a one-on-one call? Because that's not what they signed up for. So we've been keeping notes and we did add to the vault. Don't get me wrong. Some little things, but we really have a bigger vision of like, hey, with where we want this program to go and the impact we know it can make, we know that it's going to need something different for people coming in that's more robust. It's got more resources, especially with the rise of AI. I mean, 2 years ago, I wasn't using ChatGPT at all.
No.
I don't think I even knew about it.
No. Are we like kind of new?
Kind of new. And AI was just starting. We knew it existed, but not like today where Claude and ChatGPT are like literally a part of our teams.
Like second brains.
Yeah. So we know our business owners are using AI tools and they want to speed up their results by having these tools with them. So we knew that was a big part of the upgrade is we need to give AI prompts on how to help them customize, work faster, but also stay in alignment and in integrity, because using AI on its own without purpose and understanding, you might accidentally fall flat with your marketing because you are copying everybody else. And AI truly doesn't understand you, your business, your uniqueness very well most of the time. So we want you to be able to do that. So the vault has taken an evolution. And this is also just a reminder, like, you don't want to necessarily do this the first time around. This is not the investment I would have recommended to myself 2 years ago. This is appropriate and necessary now that we've had the experience, the data, and the growth.
And that is one benefit of having like a living, breathing program over a course, is that we can give our clients a piece or a starting place in the vault and they bring it to calls and we help them hash it out. But what we're doing now is giving them more and more tools to be able to hash out more and more on their own. So when they're bringing things to calls, it's elevated coaching.
Yes. And that's what, like, the whole name of the program literally is called Empowered for More, because we want you to empower yourself for more of anything you want. And we don't want to be the only answer you can get. Does that make, like, you're not waiting to talk to us. We're giving you tools, strategic questions, strategic information for you to self-evaluate, be aware, and have the opportunity to grow as fast as you would like to, with the support of coaches who are in your corner, who can help you clarify and take action. So that's really the purpose behind this way we set up the vault. It's like we said, it's not a course where you're just binge watching everything or getting halfway through and quitting, which most people do.
Yeah, we actually don't allow our clients to go and binge the vault. Like, we have certain tracks. They have access to certain trainings when they need them. But we don't want them to have everything, because it's a waste of time to sit and watch trainings. Like, the reason this podcast is called Actually is because taking action is what makes things happen.
Yes, it's actually what gets things done.
Yeah, so the program is designed to keep you moving.
Yes, exactly. So when we were talking about this update for the Action Vault, it's robust. We wanted to tackle it. We wanted to be able to bring some cohesiveness. We also wanted to rearrange how they entered in and how they saw the courses. We were just, again, we gathered data of, like, how can we make this a better user experience for better impact, as well as all of the goals that we have for our people in the program. And so we knew it would be necessary to dedicate specific bigger chunks of time to getting this done. This isn't just a 1 hour thing. This isn't even just a 1 day thing. It was really intentional to get together, to map out what we needed to do, and to try to get as much done as possible in a big sprint. So I'm going to be honest, it's like not fully completed, but we are fully completed with all the actions that we knew we needed to accomplish. We have the clarity. So now we can accelerate the results. And so dedicating, getting an Airbnb, having Cait come up here, we get to spend the time together to co-create and be body doubling, is what I've heard it called. And that really helps with, like, staying on track, also getting out of my house and not being interrupted by kids. Huge part of how, like, successful this is. And again, no client calls, no other things are booked on our schedule, just doing this.
And we didn't have to wait to brainstorm. That's something that holds us up, is we'll have an idea, but we're separate at our own houses. We're with our families.
We have client calls.
And the ideas have to wait, and they don't get the same traction as they do in an environment like we've had on this retreat.
Exactly. So literally, we spread out in this house with giant sticky note paper and small sticky notes. And we just went around the room and started, like, identifying what we have versus what's missing from each section and that we were targeting. And it just made me so happy to walk around the kitchen and the dining room here to see all of those papers everywhere. We have some beat footage for that, and I'll show it to you.
If you guys want to see our master plan, look at our Instagram. You can see our giant Post-it notes everywhere with everything outlined.
Yes. And then moving sticky notes around and identifying what needs to be recorded, what needs to be done live, what do we need to make for resources, and really mapping that all out. Then we could tackle it with strategy instead of theory. And that's really what this is about, is a lot of times we start to take on a big project and we are very chaotic in the project. I'm going to just raise my hand. Like, that's me. I'm that person that goes in to clean the kitchen and suddenly is rearranging the whole thing, and it's really sporadic and unfinished.
And you have it pulled all out and you're like, oh, I can't do anymore.
Exactly. So the goal is not to do that with your business. And so that's why we recommend, like, setting aside dedicated time, space, and intentions to get stuff done and to really make a big impact in your business. So that also led to another part of what I love, and this is really what gets me all nerded out, guys, is we also got to develop more signature frameworks, which is so much fun.
Yeah, we had a really amazing idea, and we'll share that with you guys in the coming weeks, for a new framework around messaging that is going to be like revolutionary.
It blew my own mind.
Yeah. We're super excited about it.
And that's the thing is like when you get away from the weeds of your business, you get to actually be like, what is creative? Let me bring some creativity into it instead of just being so like boring and everyday and not standing out in the crowd. And I think that's another part that we really were able to see is like, this is falling like really meh. Like it's not fun. It's not engaging. It's not juicy. It's not exciting. How can we spice it up? How can we stand out to be different? How can we let our people know how to be different? And that came from just questioning and saying, looking at our existing training for messaging and saying, this sounds like every other coach out there. Not saying that they're wrong.
But the thing is, and the coaching experiences aren't the same. So
no.
How can we make that evident in our messaging? And we're going to teach you guys how to do that. But I think the key here is like, what is your signature framework? Like having one, not teaching the same thing that everybody else has out there.
Right. And really bringing into what you're doing and that you're building, like your uniqueness. I think that's the opportunity with having this kind of creative energy space is it allows that openness for you to say like, how do I stand out? Somebody asked me a few weeks ago how I come up with all this stuff. And I'm like, well, I didn't come up with it all in one day, number one, okay? So it just didn't happen overnight. This is definitely years of coaching and developing and all of things. Like the Summer Profit and Fun Blueprint, which, by the way, you got like just a few more days left on taking advantage of that. So go do it. That's a secret podcast, by the way, if you haven't heard of it yet. And you're brand new to the podcast here. We have a secret podcast just for developing your summer of profit and fun and all kinds of really practical, amazing advice. But going back to that came from this version is a reiteration of the original version I did 4 years ago. Maybe, no, 5.
Summer Proof Your Business.
Yeah, I used to call it Summer Proof Your Business. And now it's called Summer Profit and Fun Blueprint.
Because that's evolved too.
Yes, and it has an action pack and resources, and it's like probably worth $50, if not $90 worth of stuff in there. I mean, just the printables for the kids alone. There's printables for the kids. There's a Trello board. There's templates. There's AI prompts. There's all kinds of things, and it's only $9. So we put that into place, but that didn't come about because of just one day.
No, it happened over time.
Yeah. So you're able to develop these signature frameworks when you have the time to sit and think of like yes, this is necessary. Yes, other people do something similar to me, but how can I bring my unique spin and the way I teach, the way I support, the way I think, the way I coach, all of that can allow you to expand into these signature frameworks. I think another thing I would like to talk about real quick and just touch on, we'll have to do another episode, but why are signature frameworks so important?
Yeah, I would love to talk about that.
Yeah. Just what would you say for the first thing, why you think it's really important to develop at least one signature thing about your business, or like a framework, a system, a product that has like stands out in the crowd? Why do you think it's so important that somebody takes the time to do that?
I think it's important because, one, it's going to give you so much confidence around your offer because you have something no one else does. And then 2, people want to know why you're different. If everybody out there is an OBM, like why would they choose you over someone who's cheaper? Why would they choose you over someone who's more available? Why would they choose you over someone without this framework?
Exactly. What I love about frameworks too, when you get to create your signature frameworks and you like really nail in something juicy and different, is it sounds like you invented the thing. Like it does. I had a coach one time who had a framework for attracting your leads and standing out in social media. And all it was a specific way of wording your content, which has been done a bajillion times. But they labeled it with a signature title that was really catchy and creative, and like it caught my attention. And that's one of the reasons I even went down the rabbit hole of checking to see like, what is this about? I've never heard of this thing before. And it wasn't something I'd never heard of. It's just that their approach and way of processing it and the title of it made it sound like it would blow my business up.
Yeah, it can lend you a lot of authority.
Yes.
And then on the receiving side of that, when someone has a framework, I love to know that because I want to know what tangible thing I'm going to walk away with. And I really love like a like not necessarily a plug and play overall, but like, this is my framework. If you do these 5 things, you plug in your expertise into these things, you'll have XYZ. I like knowing I'll have that, even though I'll probably end up tweaking it and it'll probably take me somewhere else. Rather than, in the coaching industry, I'm sure you see this a lot. I've hired coaches that were like, I'll get you X results. They don't tell you how. They don't have a framework. You get in the program and you're like, uh-oh. Can I just waste $2,000?
Right. Exactly. And that's what we were really passionate about, is like not letting somebody come in and like be like, oh, well, I guess this isn't going to work for me. Again, you do have to work for things to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put that caveat back out there for anyone considering joining any coaching program, whether it's Empowered for More, working with us, or someone else. We want you to get the support you need, but don't assume that you can get in to a program like that and it's like going to take 5 minutes.
Nothing's magic. You got to do
Nothing
the
is
work.
magic. You got to show up for yourself. Now we can accelerate results. We can be intentional with results, but just be prepared. Like even with signature frameworks that are fancy and fun and really clear, you still got to show up and do them.
Yep.
You know, that's like
Just
10. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's like when you keep buying different kinds of like vacuums and mops because you're like, I really want a clean house, but you're like not vacuum and mopping.
And you're like, this vacuum
I have all these tools.
I haven't used it in 30 days, but it sucks.
Yeah,
It doesn't
it's
keep my house clean. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like, again, going back to my one of my signature frameworks is 10 and 10 Connect, which I launched last year. Last year I launched that, and it was really powerful and it's really great, but it doesn't work if you don't show up 10 minutes a day. Like that's the whole point of it. It's like 10 leads in 10 minutes, or 10 interactions in 10 minutes. It's just generating new leads. And somebody said to me the other day, she's like, well, I listened to your training, but it doesn't work. I said, well, tell me about how often you showed up this week and did it. She's like, once.
And I think there's something to be said around, like, you have to be willing to give the 10 minutes, and you have to be open to risk. And in this situation, you're not losing, it's not a risk of money, but it is a risk of like, oh, well, I feel bad if someone ignores me. Well, I feel bad if people don't connect. And that's why people don't do their 10 and 10. Yeah. It's all mindset.
It's a lot of mindset. So that's what we looked at when we were working through the action vault, is really identifying like, hey, is this working for our people? Are they working it? Do they have enough tools? Do they have enough strategy for them to work, like get the results that they want based off of what we already have for them in the vault? And sometimes the answer was yes, and sometimes it was no, and then one of it was like, we're throwing the whole thing out the window and we're starting with something fresh, and it was like,
really? I'm like, every time we make a new framework, I think about like, man, if I had this when I first started online,
oh my God,
I would have been so much more successful, so much more quickly.
Yes.
We did so much windy, like, what if this works? What if that works? And we were talking about this. Like, I was like, you know what irks me is how when I was new online, like someone would be like, here's an audience building training. That's all you need. Like, this is how you make money. And I'm like, okay, I'm buying that. $2,000 or $500. Courses were a lot more expensive back then. Let me say, they were like $3,000 for every single course too. But and then the next person would be like, oh, you actually need an email marketing course. And I'm like, oh, I thought I had what I needed, but I'll buy this. And by the time you're done, you have 26 courses. You spend a ton of money, and it's like, I wish someone had just told me these were all the pieces. And that's what we made this weekend.
Exactly. And just saying. I mean, that's really what our passion and what we want this program to be, is that it is the place where you can come to get a holistic approach, like WHOL, whole business approach to developing everything you need to have the growth that you desire and create the profit margins, and not just your income. Of course, we want you to make money, but we also want you to have more time back and more freedom and in your energy, flexibility, less overwhelm, and fulfillment. So our goal is time, energy, income, and fulfillment that you're profiting from, because we're not just giving you the one piece of how to find lead 10 with 10 and 10 Connect. We're not just telling you, oh, use this mindset. We're not telling you, here's how to make most of your time, how to be productive. We're putting it all together. And I think what's an advantage for our program right now, and why I feel like really strongly like you when I was piecemealing everything, is I didn't have anybody who was looking at me and my business as a whole person And that's something I often struggled with my coaches when I first got started. I was choosing coaches who would only focus on one piece of me and not me as a whole person and a whole business and how it integrated together. And that's really why I'm proud of this program, because it prioritizes both seeing you, your mindset, your energy, your alignment that you need, and your goals, and helping you put all of the support in place, and the systems and the tools and the strategy, so that you can do whatever goal you want and you have the freedom to accomplish it. And which is why we're seeing really, and that's evident in our clients. I mean, I just talked to one girl this last week who's got 4 new leads, and she just tweaked one little piece of her conversation and how she was engaging in a community that doesn't allow promotion at all.
And they're high ticket leads.
And there are 2 of them. Oh my God. She's like, what if all of them say yes? Like,
you need an assistant.
And I was like, well, we're going to have to tackle that now. And that's the really fun part of seeing this work for somebody. And also, like, I also called her out on avoiding responding to them because she got overwhelmed. So not only did she have the tools to do the action, but she also had somebody in her corner saying, you've got this. Are you following up? Checking in on her, because I know sometimes when things start to work, we disappear.
We freak out.
So
urge to bolt. That's what they call it.
Yes. And so whether you're freaking out because it's not working or because it is, we're in your corner to help you and support you. And really having a space that is inspiring really made a big difference, I feel like, for this weekend.
Yeah.
Is like, we just have this beautiful, lots of light, quiet woods area. Most of the time I try to be by the water, but we couldn't make it this week. And I'm excited that our next retreat is going to be by the water.
Yeah. Can we just talk about, like, yes, we worked a lot.
Yes.
But we did some fun stuff too. Like,
yeah,
we created some custom simmer pots, which is something we're going to be taking to Lani hosts a retreat in September every year. And we're going to be taking that activity to that retreat because it was so fun and original. And if you guys aren't familiar, simmer pots are like an activity you can do to like infuse intention into what you're doing. And we had juniper berries and rose petals and all these things, making the house smell so beautiful. And also we had like set intentions into those things, and it just felt really special.
Yes, because when you engage all your senses, then it can really impact your action and how your vibe is and your energy. And we really wanted to bring a lot of intention behind what we're putting together. And we also wanted to like keep the energy, because when you're doing a lot of mental work, you get tired. And then we just also had the opportunity to like sit and hang out, which we're friends in real life as well as we work together. And so it was really special to be able to like enjoy your team. So if you have a team of people who are supporting you, do something like this. And also, I'm just going to put this in there. Don't be afraid to reach out to some business besties and say, hey, do you want to do a GSD weekend, get stuff done weekend? Do you want to pool resources and we'll all go in together for an Airbnb so the cost is offset? Like I did that a few years ago with a friend of mine, and we just split the cost, and it was much more affordable. Then I didn't have to bear all the money burden alone. And that was when I built my original vault to actually
for the
profitable mom system. So I had the community open, but I didn't have my vault built. So I got it all built in one weekend, and it was like
nice.
It was so nice.
Oh, we actually had one of our friends stop by to work with us for a little while, Allison Reeves, who actually coaches inside
Empowered for
More. She's doing mindset and somatic coaching, which our ladies are really loving. She came by because she lives in the same area as Lani. I had to fly in, but they live in the same area. So we all spent a few hours together and went to lunch and spent some time quietly working in the same space. And it was really nice.
It's just so nice. And so if you want to hear more about like how that works, what it looks like, send me a DM. I'm happy to talk about it more, share like some inspiration, some of our process. And also if you're like, I just would really like to go hang out in a retreat like that or anything, like just, can I come to a retreat? Because I'm just going to tell you, retreats are one of the most magical things I've ever done in my business and most impactful. I can look back at pretty much every retreat I've done, whether it's a working retreat or it's a vision retreat or it's an experience retreat. every single one of them has been a catalyst in growth for me. And that's why I love hosting them every year for our clients. This year, we are doing it in September, in the mid-September time. And if that's something you're very interested in and you want to see if you have a spot available, we open the doors up first for our clients and people who are a part of the program. And then it goes open to the public from there. So limited spots. It's an intimate retreat where we amplify and expand your vision. And then the second day is map it out. Like, how do you get there? So we don't want you to walk away and think like, that was great. Now I have more to do. So we'll be doing a lot of action as well as relaxation, rest, revitalization of your vision. I mean, just, it's so much fun.
Connecting with other women business owners, lovely meals, walking on the beach. Lani's going to tell you how you're going to level up your business. I'm going to tell you how we're going to have a good time because it's going to be amazing. We're both going to be there coaching, and we have several ladies who are repeat from the last 2 or 3 years that Lani has done this, and I just can't wait. It's going to be like magic.
Yes, it is. And what I love about it is it's all women in the room who are excited to lift each other up and be vulnerable, which is sometimes scary. And I'm not talking like crazy vulnerable. I'm just saying like, hey, we're going to talk some truth here and share and be encouraged and break through the blocks that we're ready to let go of. And even this weekend, I feel like I had some breakthroughs for my own business because we finally got to address some of the things like, hey, I see this as a thing that's recurring and it's also causing us us to limit growth because of my routine or my boundaries that are not clear or, things like that. So that is the opportunity that comes when you intentionally step out of the weeds, out of your normal routine, and say like, let's do this and let's be intentional. So intentional with like getting away can do such big things for your business.
Absolutely. This has been an awesome weekend.
It's so good. So good. I can't wait to get everything together, and we'll keep you posted on the new training and framework that we got because you're going to not want to miss this one when I tell you. It's so good.
It's compelling.
So it's going to go to the Women Empowered for More first, and then we'll be sharing some of that with our audience, an opportunity for you to get to learn some really game changer processes that are going to impact the way your messaging lands with your audience. So stay tuned for that. And again, thank you for coming to the podcast today, hanging out with us. And me and Cait, we love that you guys listen, and be sure to send us a DM if you want to know more about our process here, what we did, or the retreat that's coming up in the fall for the Amplify Your Vision retreat. And we'll see you next week on another episode. Thanks for actually joining us today. I hope it inspired you to actually take the action to step into the empowered CEO that you are and getting more of the results that you want. Before you go, I have a quick favor. Leave us a review and take a screenshot of this episode and share it with your friends and on your favorite social media channels. Don't forget to tag us, actually.thepodcast and Lani J. Jackson. And we'll see you next week on another episode.